ahead, stay inspired. Follow us on all our social media platforms. A long time ago, let's say around 1870, when towns where villages and kings ruled their tribes, there lived a Ghanaian princess. Her name was Salima. She was the only child of the great king Nye Akoto of the Dodowa kingdom. Dodowa was a blessed land, rich in gold, fertile lands, and abundant rivers. The people lived in peace and the kingdom flourished. But despite all the kingdom's greatness, there was one big problem. The princess. Salima was rude, disrespectful, and cruel. From childhood, she had been pampered and spoiled. No one dared to correct her, not even her father, the king. She insulted the elders, embarrassed the servants, and treated guards, visitors, and villagers like they were nothing. Even in the palace, everyone feared her. One hot afternoon, Salima and her mates went to the river to bathe. The river was cool and clear, flowing gently as birds chirped from the trees. Salima was enjoying the fresh water when suddenly an old woman passing by mistakenly looked in her direction and saw her nakedness. Salima became furious. "You wicked old woman! How dare you look at me?" she screamed. The old woman quickly turned away and apologized. "Please, my princess, it was a mistake. I was only passing." But Salima's heart was full of arrogance. She did not care. She ordered her mates. "Beat her! Let her feel my anger," she said. The mates hesitated, afraid to touch an old woman, but Salima shouted again, "Beat her, I said, or you will all suffer." The mates had no choice. They grabbed the old woman and pushed her into the wet mud. Salima picked up a handful of mud and smeared it all over the old woman's face. Then, in her wickedness, she spat on her. The old woman slowly got up, covered in mud, her body shaking with anger. She looked at Salima. Her eyes were dark and powerful. "You think you are untouchable, princess? You think your beauty and power will last forever?" Salima laughed. "Old woman, you are nothing. Get out of my sight before I do worse to you." The old woman raised her hands in the sky. "From today, you will see what it means to be powerless. You will wither like a dying leaf. Your body will dry up. Your beauty will fade, and you will become unrecognizable. No man will ever desire you." At that moment, the wind blew strangely, and the water in the river turned dark. For a moment, the old woman walked away, and Salima only laughed. But the curse had already started. That night, Salima felt weak. The next morning, when she looked in the mirror, she screamed. Her face, once smooth and beautiful, was now dry and rough. Her skin tightened, making her look thin and old. Her lips cracked, and her once shiny black hair began to fall off. The palace panicked. The king called all the best herbalists in the kingdom. They boiled herbs, rubbed her skin with special oils, and made her drink bitter medicines. But nothing worked. Days passed. Salima's condition grew worse. Her fingers became bony and her eyes sank deep into their sockets. People in the palace whispered, "Take a moment to share, subscribe, and like. Is this really Princess Salima?" Even when she walked, her legs shook. like an old woman's. She barely had the strength to stand for long. One day, she tried to step outside, but when the village people saw her, they ran away in fear. No one recognized her anymore. Salima finally broke down in tears. She locked herself in her room, refusing to see anyone. For the first time in her life, she felt powerless. The king was desperate. His only daughter was suffering, and nothing was working. He sent messengers to other kingdoms asking for help. Many great herbalists came, but none could cure the princess. Finally, the king made a big announcement. Whoever can cure my daughter will marry her and become the future king. This news spread far and wide. Many healers, priests, and herbalists came to try their luck. They gave her different medicines, performed rituals, and even sacrificed animals to the gods. But still, the curse remained. The king was losing hope until one day, a mysterious stranger arrived in Dodowa. The man was tall, dark-skinned, and strong. He wore a simple cloth around his waist, and his eyes held wisdom behind his ears. He entered the palace and knelt before the king. "Great king, I have come to cure your daughter." The king looked at him curiously. "Who are you and where are you from?" Take a moment to share, subscribe, and like. The man smiled. "I am Osajafo, a traveler, a healer, from the faraway land of Bono. I have cured many strange illnesses before." The king sighed. Many have tried and failed. What makes you different?" Osajafo confidently said, "I do not just cure diseases, my king. I understand curses. Let me see the princess." With the king's assistance, he told the guards to lead Osajafo to Salima's room. Salima was never ready to come out to see anyone or be seen. But now, she was tired, desperate, and willing to do anything for help. Osajafo entered her hut. She laid helpless on the mat, her skin dry and cracked, her eyes deep and hollow. She barely had the strength to lift her head. Osajafo folded his arms and stared at her. His voice was calm but firm. "You brought this upon yourself." Salima's lips trembled, but she said nothing. "Your rude attitude ended you here," Osajafo continued. Take a moment to share, subscribe, and like. You are a princess, a symbol of hope for your people, but you disrespected them. Salima turned her face away, ashamed. No one had ever spoken to her this way. Osajafo took a deep breath and shook his head. "The old woman you assaulted at the river was not just an ordinary person. She is the goddess of this land in human form." Salima's eyes widened in shock. "What?" she said. Osajafo nodded. "She cursed you, and now the only way to break the curse is through your own disgrace." Salima's heart pounded. Tell me what to do," she begged. Osajafo looked into her eyes. "You must go to the market center and dance like a mad woman until the people start laughing." Salima's breath caught her throat. What did you say?" she asked, thinking she had heard wrong. Osajafo didn't blink. Take a moment to share, subscribe, and like. Your dance must make the people laugh. Only their laughter can heal their long-time hate for you. If your dance does not make them laugh, you will remain like this forever. Salima felt a sharp pain in her chest. No, I can't do that," she cried, shaking her head. Osajafo let out a loud chuckle and turned towards the door. Then, "Remain this way forever," Salima's body shook with fear. Please, there must be another way, she pleaded. Asajifo stepped at the door, turned slightly and said, Tell your father to obey, or his daughter remained cursed forever. With that, he walked out. Asajifo walked to the palace courtyard, where the king and his elders were waiting. The king stood up immediately. What must we do? He asked. Asajifo folded his arms. Your daughter must dance at the market center. She must dance in a way that will make the people laugh. The elders exchanged confused glances. One of them, Elder Kweku, frowned. Dance? How can a dance cure a disease? Another elder, Elder Tete, shook his head. This is madness. A dance cannot break a curse. The king said nothing. He rubbed his beard, deep in thought. What kind of dance will make the people laugh? Elder Kweku questioned. A crazy dance, Osajifo answered. She must humble herself. She must entertain the people she once disrespected. The elders murmured among themselves. Is this truly the only way? Elder Tete asked. Osajifo nodded. If she refuses, she remains cursed forever. The king closed his eyes and let out a heavy sigh. He knew this was his fault. He had failed as a father. He had spoiled his daughter and allowed her to grow into a heartless person. Now, the only way to save her was to humble her before the very people she had once mistreated. The palace was silent. After a long moment, the king finally spoke. Tell my daughter she must obey. The village announcer went from one end of Dodowa to the other, spreading the strange news. Come one, come all. The great Princess Salima will dance at the market center. The cure to her sickness is laughter. Come and witness. People stood frozen in shock. Some laughed loudly. Hey, our proud princess will dance like a madwoman, one man said, shaking his head. How can this be? The same Salima who never smiled? Another woman asked. Gossip spread like wildfire. Some felt sorry for her, but pity could not break the curse. She had to make the people laugh or remain cursed forever. Many village people dropped their works just to witness the impossible. Some even postponed weddings, claiming they couldn't miss this moment. For years, no one had ever seen the princess dance. She had always been too proud, walking stiff like a statue, never showing joy, never moving her body in rhythm. But now, she had no choice. On the first day, the market center was full. People gathered in large numbers, standing on rooftops, climbing trees, and squeezing into every space just to see her. Salima stepped into the open space, her thin, frail body trembling with fear. Dance! Someone shouted from the crowd. She took a deep breath and began moving. Her hands flapped awkwardly. Her legs moved stiffly. Her body shook, but there was no rhythm. The villagers stood in silence, watching with blank faces. After a few minutes, some people began shaking their heads in disappointment. This is terrible. A whole princess? She can't even dance. She's even making me angry instead of making me laugh. One woman in the crowd shouted, You are a disgrace to the village. Even babies dance better than you. Laughter did not come. Instead, insults were rained on her. Salima felt humiliated. She wanted to cry, but she forced herself to continue. Day after day, she kept dancing, but no one laughed. Slowly, people even stopped coming. She lost hope. One afternoon, after another failed attempt, she collapsed on the floor. with tears streaming down her face. "I can't do this anymore," she said. Then, on a fateful day, something unexpected happened. As she stood in the market square, trying to move her body, a madman from the village suddenly jumped beside her and started dancing. His clothes were torn, his body smelled bad, and his hair was wild and dirty. Salima covered her nose in disgust. "Go away," she hissed, but the madman ignored her. He jumped, shook his waist, wiggled his arms, and even rolled on the floor. His movements were so ridiculous that people watching burst into laughter. Salima froze. For the first time, people were laughing, but not at her. They were laughing at him. She watched the madman closely. His movements were fearless. He did not care about shame or judgment. Then a thought hit her. If she was going to succeed, she had to stop caring too. She looked at the madman again and made a bold decision. She took a deep breath and joined him. At first, dancing beside him felt strange. She felt ashamed, but the madman didn't stop. He kept dancing wildly, rolling, jumping, and shaking his body without control. Salima forced herself to copy him. She jumped like a frog. She flapped her arms like a chicken. She wiggled her waist like a snake. And slowly, she forgot her shame. The people in the crowd started giggling. Then they started laughing. More people gathered to watch. Some pointed at her. "Look at our princess. She is finally letting go of her pride." She kept going, moving her body with full energy. Each day, the madman returned, and together they danced crazily. The village people started looking forward to it. They came back in larger numbers, cheering and clapping. "Shake it, Princess Salima," they shouted. And Salima, for the first time in her life, smiled as she danced. One afternoon, after weeks of dancing, something magical happened. The entire village was present, watching as Salima and the madman danced like never before. Suddenly, one of the women who had insulted her before jumped into the dance circle and joined them. Then another man, then a young boy, then an old woman. Soon, the entire village was dancing. The market center turned into a festival, with people laughing, clapping, and enjoying themselves. Salima's body felt lighter. She closed her eyes, let go of all her pride, and danced as if she had no past, no regrets, no shame. Then a strong wind blew. A bright light flashed across the sky. Salima's body shivered, and she felt something strange inside her. When she opened her eyes, the villagers gasped. Her skin was smooth again. Her hair had grown back. Her body was no longer thin and weak. The curse had been broken. The village people cheered and clapped. The gods have forgiven her. The madman clapped happily, then turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Salima looked around. For the first time, she saw her people differently, not as servants, not as lower beings, but as human beings who deserved respect. She fell on her knees and bowed before them. "Forgive me," she said with tears in her eyes. The village people surrounded her, lifting her up. They danced with her until the sun went down, celebrating not just her healing, but her rebirth. From that day, Salima changed. She walked among her people, helping the poor, and ruled with kindness. The village of Dodoa never forgot the princess who once brought them sorrow, but later became their greatest joy. And so,
The curse turned into a blessing, and Salima's name was remembered, not for her pride, but for her love. And the village of Dodoa became a land where pride was never greater than love for one another. The lesson we should learn here is pride can break you, but humility can heal even the deepest wounds.
Thank you for watching. Follow Derba Tales on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for updates and more amazing stories. See you next time.